Hello Iza. Iza Azran.
Hai Iza.
Iza tak dengar. Iza. Iza. Oh Iza. Iza. Oh Iza. Iza. Dengar tak?
Dengar.
Ya,
Berdengar kuat.
dengar.
Okey.
Okay. Nanti lepas bercakap tu tutup cam kalau nak tayang video.
P. Dengar. P. Jelas.
Jelas. Kamu tak bawa.
P.
Tu tak jelas.
Kena tak dalam mulut ni. Telah.
Gini. Gini. Ha. Aku dengan je lah.
Gini.
Aku dengan je lah.
Ya.
Dengar ni.
Membuka mic. Gas.
Aku dengan je lah.
Ini aku.
Gini agak. Kalau aku tak gini. Ha.
Ini awak tak umur lu.
Game mic. Nah. Assalamualaikum. Soalan paste kat chatbox ke? Tak. Oh Izzah. Izzah tak dengar lah. Soalan tu paste kat chatbot je kan?
Dear audience, please pay attention. There are some important announcements to keep in mind throughout the event. First, please turn off your microphone and pay full attention while the webinar is in progress. Second, attendees are requested to fill out an attendance forms after the webinar ends. Third, if the audience would like to ask any questions or opinions, please write in the comment section. Attendees are asked to introduce themselves first before expressing questions and opinions to facilitate the arrangement of the webinar. Your cooperation is preceded by thanks. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera dan salam mila PPM. Yang berusaha Dr. M.HAMDAN Syara'i, Lecturer of EMG 4102, Environmental Quality Management. Yang berbahagia Puan Nur Syahidah Muhammad Syahari and Puan Suhaila Kamis as a representative of Pertubuhan Peladang Kawasan Singgara. Saudara Muhammad Nur Fitri Muhammad Anwar, Chairman of Ecolabelling Webinar and its Executive Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the webinar on Ecolabelling. I, Iza Arzaini, will be your MC for today. To bless our webinar today, the Council invited Saudara Muhammad Hanafi Abdullah to lead the prayer reading. The Council is welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka sami'un alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim, innakal barul jawadul karim. Ya Allah, Engkaulah yang mempunyai segala kepujian. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kepujian. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran. Engkaulah yang memiliki segala pemerintahan. Di tangan Engkau segala kebajikan. Kepada Engkaulah kembali segala urusan. Allahumma ya Karim, ya Rahim, cucurilah rahmat dan rahimmu ke atas majlis kami, webinar yang diadakan pada hari ini. Berkatilah ia dari awal hingga akhirnya. Ya fa'alu lima yurid, kami juga memohon perlindungan darimu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat celakan majlis kami dan daripada segala perkara yang melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu. Kepadamu juga kami serah segala urusan kami. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wasallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Muhammad Hanafi, for reading the prayer just now. Next, I would like to call Muhammad Nur Fitri Muhammad Anwar, Chairman of Ecolabelling Webinar, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Thank you, Iza Ajani, as a MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. M.HAMDAN Syara'i as a special facilitator and program advisor of EMG 4102, Environmental Quality Management System Group 2. And also welcome to Puan Nur Syahidah Syahari and Puan Suhaila Kamis as a representative from Pertubuhan Peladang Kawasan Singkara. Next, I want to invite my guest, my fellow group member and classmate and the audience who are present today. Alhamdulillah, we are thankful to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala for allowing us to participate in the building and marketing, or can call Ecolabelling, for EMG 4102 Environmental Quality Management System webinar. Firstly, I want to say thank you so much to our advisor, Dr. M.HAMDAN, who give us a great deal of valuable information and assist us to do this webinar. I know it would be tough because various limitations by online class. However, our advisors stay dedicated in provide us with knowledge. Next, I would like to thank to our invited representative who are agreed to join us today for success of Ecolabelling webinar. Also, not forget to their classmates and audience today. I hope after this webinar, we will be able to use information presented and practically and implement on company or benefit of human and environment. That's all I want to say. Again, thank you so much to all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Muhammad Nafitri, for your speech just now. Before we begin, let's watch a montage video from a group call. Ladies and gentlemen, to avoid wasting time, I hereby hand over this webinar to our first moderator, Muhammad Nur Fitri. The floor is yours.
Thank you, MC Izzat Ajani. For the part 1, I am your moderator. My name is Muhammad Nur Fitri bin Anwar. For the part 1 video, you need focus, and in last part 1 we have a Kahoot session, and you can get e-certificate from this.
Welcome to part 1 video about introduction of labeling and marketing. Ecolabelling. This video cover about definition of ecolabelling, definition of marketing, history of environmental labeling, and conclusion of this part. Definition of ecolabelling. Ecolabel, also referred as green label. Ecolabelling is a voluntary method of environmental performance certification and labeling that is practiced around the world. An eco-label identifies products or services proven environmentally preferable overall, within a specific product or service category. The criteria utilize extensive based on the product life cycle impact on the environment. When developing eco-label criteria, standards for products, the focus is on the stages where the product has the highest environmental impact, and this differs from product to product. Criteria are developed and revised in a transparent way by a group of experts and stakeholders. In addition, product-specific criteria ensure that any product bearing the eco-label is of good quality with high performance. Taking a look at textiles, for instance, fabrics have strong environmental impacts when they are dyed, printed, and bleached. So, experts have designed the criteria for textiles in order to make sure harm at the manufacturing stage is reduced as much as possible. The label affixed to products that pass eco-friendly criteria. Products awarded an eco-label have been assessed and verified by an independent third body. Eco-labels are usually funded and backed by the national government. Next, definition of marketing. Marketing is the activity, set of institutions, and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Whether American Marketing Association, AMA, new definition now adequately reflects the field of marketing is a worthy issue to address. Focusing on the aspirations advanced by scholars for a definition of marketing that 1. Is inclusive of the larger domain of marketing, 2. Adequately captures the alternative perspectives of those who occupy this domain, 3. Reflects extant scholarship in the academic field of marketing, and 4. Adequately informs and provides guidance to marketing practitioners and others as to marketing's role and responsibility in society. We examine the definition of marketing proposed by AMA in 2007. Marketing deals with identifying and meeting human and social needs. One of the shortest definitions of marketing is meeting needs profitably. Physical goods constitute the bulk of most countries' production and marketing effort. As economies advances, a growing proportion of their activist is focused on the production of services. According to Philip Kotler, marketing management is the art and science of choosing target markets and getting, keeping, and growing customers through creating, delivering, and communicating superior customer value.
Okay, we know about environmental labeling history, which can open your mind about environmental labeling. The first eco-label promoting environmentally friendly practices was launched by West Germany in 1978. The environmental label was created by German Federal Minister of Interior. Then approved by Ministers of the Environment for the German federal states, but according to a 2005 UN report, while consumers have shown willingness to pay more at first, the premium isn't always sustainable. This may indicate that consumers are generally unwilling to pay higher prices for eco-labeled products, it concluded. After the late 1980s, they grew and became more vocal in expressing opinions on environmental labeling. After 92 UN conferences. UN conferences focus on the environment in development. Hochschild, Rosenbaum and Olsen, 2018. This causes them to gain more support in introducing environmental labeling. It is to meet customer demand in the purchase of green products since the late 1980s. On 23 February 1992, the EU Eco-Regulated Label was issued under the Council, EEC, on Community Award Scheme. The rule creates a label of voluntary eco-schemes intended to promote the design, production, marketing and use of products. This thing provides consumers with better information about the environmental impact of products. This scheme is for self-financing. Under this scheme, the eco-label is only given to products that meet environmental criteria. For each product category, these criteria are set based on the LCA agreed to maintain environmental sustainability in order to ensure the well-being of society. The conclusion is that eco-labeling is a market-based policy solution to environmental challenges that does not rely on environmental laws of direction and control. There is reason to be optimistic about the potential of their application as an environmental policy tool to address external problems through market-based information supply. As long as there are a large number of customers who value green products, consumer desire may provide an appropriate incentive for firms to switch to a more green manufacturing process. If consumers are aware of the benefits of this ecolabel, it can save the earth, which is now full of solid waste that is difficult to dispose of and has a negative impact on the social economy and more. Therefore, we have to increase efforts to make people aware of the importance of ecolabel.
Wow, that was a great video for part 1. To refresh your mind, we will go to Kahoot session with Karen Avira.
Thank you, Fitri. So I'm Karen and I will be your moderator for the Kahoot session. So to join this Kahoot session, you guys may go to the Kahoot website and insert the game pin above, which is 943610, or you can scan the QR code above. We will wait until about 30 to 35 participants before we start. For the winners for the Kahoot session, you will receive e-certificate. Come on guys, let's join our Kahoot session. Come on guys, 15 more participants and we'll start the Kahoot. Come on guys, we have 24 participants for now. We'll wait for 30 participants. Okay, 4 more participants and we'll start. Three more. Okay, 1 more participants. Okay, so I think we can start the Kahoot now. Okay, for the first question, products awarded an Ecolabel have been assessed and verified by an independent third body. Is it true or is it false? Come on guys, 10 more seconds. Okay, only 2% get the wrong answer. Next. Okay, for now, 208248 is in first place. Next question. Which year eco-labeling scheme known as EcoMark established? Is it 1990, 1991, 1992, or 1993? Okay, so the answer is 1992. Next. The third question, what company has been a market-based voluntary instrument of environmental policy? Is it Green Seal, Blue Angel, Nordic Swan, or Enor? Okay, so the answer is Blue Angel. 12 people got it right. And now 708 is in the first place. Next question. Products category this criteria are set on basis of an agreed LCA. Is it true or is it false? So the answer is true, and only 4% got it wrong. And now 207, white 185 is in first place. Next question. For the last question, what are the causes that provide appropriate incentives for firms to switch to a more green manufacturing process? Is it consumer, government, firm, or school? The answer is consumer. So for the third place goes to 207185. And second place is 207176. And the first place goes to Nehru. Congratulations. And for the winners, you may provide your contact number in the chat section to claim your e-certificate. Thank you for joining.
Congrats to Nehru. Before we continue to part 2, let's take a break for a while. During this break, we will present our individual video. Enjoy.
Hi, today I want to talk about Global Ecolabelling Network, GEN. It's a non-profit association of third-party environmental performance recognition, certification and labeling organization founded in 1994 to improve, promote and develop the eco-labeling of products and services. Only environmentally friendly products and services proven to have lower environmental impact may carry a GEN member Ecolabelling.
Hello everyone and Assalamualaikum. My name is M.HAMDAN M.HAMDAN and my nomenclature is 207185. In this video, I will talk about the objective of ecolabelling. The first objective of ecolabelling is protecting the environment. Ecology nowadays seems to be progressively worse, so it's time to human or people make a decision and efforts towards safeguarding environment. Next objective of ecolabelling is encourage environment-friendly innovation. Some great ideas come from clever mind, but the most successful innovation have been created out to meet needs. Promoting eco-friendly products can help foster the innovative culture that produce the products. For example, some electrical appliances that comply with Energy Star not only use the less energy, but it is also emits fewer greenhouse gases. The objective of ecolabelling is building consumer awareness. Ecolabelling may help increase consumer awareness about the environmental consequences of their choices when they buying a product, because they will inform better and it can influence their buying decisions, because they will buy the products with more caution and care towards the environment. The fourth objective of ecolabelling is to provide an incentive to manufacturers or importers to reduce adverse environmental impacts of products, and lastly, to encourage citizens to purchase products which have less harmful environmental impacts. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.
Ecolabels are a specific type of product labeling that certifies the environmental performance of products and services. Businesses, private organizations, and governments began developing Ecolabel as a means to both encourage the consumption of more environmentally friendly products and encourage the use of sustainable production practices. The benefits of Ecolabelling provides to these companies can be listed as follows. Firstly, be prepared for continuous improvement. Next, providing quality service. Benefits of the eco-labeling also include to gain the confidence of the parties. Next is to reduce risk and costs. Furthermore, we can continue knowledge of new developments and standards. Lastly, by using eco-labeling, we can create a comparison with other organizations on the same track.
There are many challenges in eco-labeling. First of all, the uncontrolled proliferations of labels issued by various groups or authorities tend to reduce the importance of ecological labeling. Next, the lack of expertise, financial and organizational capacity. After that, when claims are made randomly in advertising and labeling. Last one is limited disclosure of environmental information and portrayal of eco-labels may lead to customer confusion or hesitation throughout the purchasing process. So thank you for watching.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nofranda binti Mamano and my match number is 20740A. So this is my second video about the Ecolabel. I will present about the impact of Ecolabel knowledge. I will present two impacts which protect the environment and encourage innovation. So first one is protect the environment. Is mean Ecolabel is used to influence consumer decision and encourage the product and consumption of environmentally appropriate good and service. So the second impact of the Ecolabel knowledge is encourage innovation by offering product or service that reduce stress on the environment. A business can create a positive image among consumers that create an advantage to the environment. So that's all for my video. Thank you.
Hi, welcome. So today we are going to talk about the choosing the right Ecolabel. This day, the number of new Ecolabel program is aimed at environmentally conscious consumers grown rapidly with a limited quality control. By applying a three-part framework, manager can avoid betting on the wrong labels. So what is the three-part framework? So the first one is consumer awareness and understanding. Second, consumer confidence, and the third is willingness to pay.
So let's see the three framework and the main part. Ecolabel are widely used as a policy tool to provide consumers with information on a product's sustainability characteristics. Choosing an ecolabel to cut risk. For this reason, we hope that our framework for helping managers evaluate ecolabel prove invaluable to companies facing decisions about such label.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Hanafi. I would like to tell about people's views on eco-labeling. First of all, we can see based on this graph, the acceptance of eco-labeling global generally in Europe increasing every year for all countries. Second, from perspective of student, we also can see increasing trend of the use environmental friendly good. It also increase. It can be concluded that society in this world now sensitive and aware of environmental care regardless of age. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening everyone. In this video we are going to talk about eco-labeling in fisheries. The Marine Stewardship Council, MSC. MSC is the major international program for fisheries. It is established in 1996. MSC utilizes independent third-party certification businesses to review fisheries against its principles and standards. There are currently over 40 fisheries that have been certified or are in the process of being certified. But this does not cover fisheries that are currently being assessed. 3 principles of the standard. First, have a healthy and productive stock. Second, ecosystem function must meet certain criteria. Third, must have effective management. The FAO Code of Conduct for Responsible Fishing is the source of the standard. Thank you.
you for watching this video. That's all for the part 1. I will go to part 2 with second moderator Anna.
Thank you, Hanafi. Salam and hi. My name is Nur Farhana. As your second moderator, so let's move to the video part 2. Please watch and get some information for that video because after this, we have a quiz. Please enjoy.
Now we will explain about the ISO. There are 4 ISO ecolabelling, namely ISO 14020, ISO 14021, ISO 14024, and ISO 14025. This video explains a little bit about ISO standards related to ecolabelling. The content that will be explained in this video is related to the introduction to ISO, explanation to ISO ecolabelling, as well as conclusions. Before that, let's look back at part 1 about the introduction to ecolabelling. The previous video explains about the definition and history of eco-label labeling. To some extent, the ecolabel is also known as the green label as well as the first ecolabel created in 1978 by the German Federal Minister of the Interior. Okay, let's start about ISO. What is ISO? ISO stands for the International Organization for Standardization. The International Organization for Standardization is a worldwide federation of national standards bodies that are ISO member bodies. The work of preparing international standards is normally carried out through ISO technical committees. Besides, international organizations, governmental and non-governmental, in liaison with ISO, also take part in the work. ISO collaborates closely with the International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC, on all matters of electrotechnical standardization. International standards are drafted in accordance with the rules given in the ISO/IEC directives, Part 3. Let's move to introduction of ISO 14020. ISO 14020 is a standard that provides information about a product or service in terms of its overall environmental characteristics, emphasizing specific environmental aspects or any related aspects. In ISO 14020 there is an affirmed principle. In general, all the principles asserted can be applied to all environmental labels and declarations. There are 8 principles in place that outlines the standards that must be followed to guarantee that accurate and reliable information is provided. These principles are intended for businesses that want to create labels or environmental claims. The first principle emphasized is environmental labels and declarations shall be accurate, verifiable, relevant, and not misleading. The second principle is that procedures and requirements for environmental labels and declarations should not create unnecessary barriers to international trade. The third principle is that environmental labels and declarations are based on a comprehensive scientific methodology to produce accurate and reproducible results. The fourth principle is information on procedures, methodologies, and criteria used to support environmental labels declarations also provided to stakeholders. The fifth principle is to take all aspects in the development of environmental labels. The sixth principle is that environmental labels and declarations should not preclude innovations that have the potential to improve environmental performance. The seventh principle is that the process of developing an environmental label involves open consultation and participation with interested parties. Lastly is administrative requirements or requests for information related to environmental labels and declarations should be limited to establish compliance with applicable criteria and standards. Now, we are going to look at ISO 14021. ISO 14021 created a need for environmental labeling standards which apply to all relevant aspects of the life cycle of the product developed. The manufacturers, importers, distributors, retailers, or anyone else who may benefit may make such self-declared environmental claims. The Type 2 Ecolabel is specially for products and services where there are neither criteria nor labeling schemes. It can give credibility to environmental claims made by manufacturers, marketers, and resellers for products or services. Furthermore, ISO 14021 helps in avoiding confusion, barriers to trade, and unfair competition. Secondly, it helps identifies and defines a number of widely used claim terms. And lastly, it outlines each term's evaluation techniques in order to guarantee that they are both legitimate and scientifically sound. The next ISO we are going to look at is the ISO 14024. This ISO establishes the principles and procedures for developing Type 1 environmental labeling programs. It includes the selection of product categories, product environmental criteria and product function characteristics, and for assessing and demonstrating compliance. ISO 14024 is the Type 1 environmental labeling. This ISO is the eco-labeling schemes where there are clearly defined criteria for products. These systems give items or services a mark or logo if they meet a set of standards. In this ISO principles and procedure, it listed the selection of product categories, product environmental criteria, product function characteristics, and for assessing and demonstrating compliance. It specifies the labeling process for certification. Lastly, we are going to look at ISO 14025. ISO 14025 aims to present environmental information about the products accurately and clearly based on its life cycle stages. It also ensures that the life cycle assessment, LCA, and environmental product declaration, EPD, calculations are consistent, such that the completed EPDs are similar across sectors. ISO 14025 is the Type 3 environmental declarations. It is for specific aspects of products using a life cycle approach, and it establishes the concepts and methods for producing data. The declarations allow comparisons between comparable items by displaying quantitative environmental information about a product's life cycle, which it is useful in business-to-business communications in fulfilling regulatory requirements. In conclusion, through this video we learn that each ISO has its own details related to eco-label, but puts environmental principles as a priority. ISO is important as it is created as environmental management guidelines to assist organizations in taking a proactive approach to overcome environmental challenges. Thank you for listening. And wait for next video. Before we move to next video, let's join the simple quiz together. We have 2 true and false questions. First question. Type 3 environment declaration is eco-labeling schemes where there are clearly defined criteria for products. True or false? The answer is false. Second question. Is it correct the group of experts in the Technical Committee, TC, that develops ISO standards? True or false? The answer is true. Great job, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.
So many information we got from that video, such as ISO of Ecolabel have the 3 types and have their own function. So let's continue to the next session, which is Kahoot session. You can go to Kahoot website and enter with bin. And write your name. Enjoy, guys. Ini provide a certificate to the winner as a gift. Thank you for
several people more. 5 people more. Come on, guys. Share thoughts. Share. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Yeah. 5 people. People more. I think we can start now. The first question. ISO 14024 aims to present environmental information about the product accurately and clearly based on life cycle stage. True or false? Say false. Only one people get it right. Congratulations, you correct. Next. The type 2 self-declared environmental claim help to prevent confusing the strict and unfair competition. True or false? It can be true, it can be false. Answer. Answer is true. 24 people got it right. Only 2 people got it wrong. The first place is Iqbal. Congratulations. Next. ISO 14020 is the general principle which all the principles apply to only some of the environmental level and declaration. True or false? The answer is false. Only 8 people got it right. Next. The principal and the producer in ISO 14024 specifically the labeling process for certification. True or false?
Answer is true. 21 people got it right. Only 3 people got it wrong. Congratulations, 205625. Next, the last question. Type 1 Ecolabel, a voluntary criterion, the criteria are set by a product group and variety by third party. True or false? Answer is true. 11 people got it right. Next. For the winner, third place is 205516 and second place is 209555. And the winner is 205625. The winner, please contact us. Before we continue to the part 3, let's take a break for a while. We present to you the individual video during this break. Please enjoy.
The primary function of eco-labeling is to stimulate both the supply and demand of products with a reduced environmental impact. The objective is to provide guidance to consumers, which has considerable implications with regard to economic efficiency and the flow of information. In fact, it will reduce costs for consumer manufacturers and retailers by lowering the time and effort needed to obtain and provide reliable information on life cycle consideration and green products. At the same time, products eco-label can give you guarantee that their compliance with established ecological criteria has been tested by independent third parties, which is the national and regional eco-label competent bodies. Information as used by the scheme is one key character of a market-based environmental policy. Diffusing information about the environmental effects of a product during its whole life cycle will be essential in order to support sustainable consumption patterns.
Assalamualaikum and hi. I, as an environmental student, want to share about the type of product use Ecolabel. First product is detergent, consists of soap detergent, body wash and other. The second product is baby body wash. This very helpful for the mother and father to use. And the last product is food packaging. Why this product need eco-labeling? Because company need to convince consumer about product safety and it can able to protect our environment. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. In this video, I will explain about eco-label can support sustainability. With eco-labeling, consumers will know that the product used can be recyclable. Eco-labels are affixed to products that pass eco-friendly criteria laid down by government, association or standard certification bodies. Product award and eco-label have been assessed and verified by an independent third body and are guaranteed to meet certain environmental performance requirements. With this eco-labeling, is able to have environmental sustainability. That's all from me.
Hello everyone and Assalamualaikum. I am Fatihah Nazira. In this video, I will share about eco-labeling scheme, which is SIRIM. A product can be placed as an environmentally friendly product when it is certificated under the SIRIM eco-labeling scheme. SIRIM eco-labeling scheme must provide a product with a competitive advantage over similar products in the environment-centric market. The SIRIM eco-labeling scheme has been recognized as national eco-labeling program. Okay, next, what are the benefits of SIRIM eco-labeling scheme? The first benefits of SIRIM eco-labeling scheme is provide independent confirmation that your manufacturer goods meet environmental standards. Second, increase your product's acceptance in foreign green markets where green items are valued more. Third, contribute to environmental preservation and protection. And lastly, improve your customers' perception of you as environmentally conscious company. how to apply for Cerium Ecolabelling scheme. There are nine ways to apply for Cerium Ecolabelling scheme. First, submission of questionnaire. Second, issuance of quotation. Third, submission of application for factory audit. 5. Document evaluation. 6. Sample selection and testing. 7. Recommendation and approval. 8. Surveillance. 9. And 9. Renewal. That's all from me. Till we meet again in the next video. Thank you.
Have you ever wondered if your product that you are buying are safe for you to use? Let's see if they have found or watched this label on your product before.
Have you seen this label before? Did you know what is the function of those labels? Seems like you didn't realize those labels yet. Come, let's watch what are those labels for. So now you have a better idea about those labels, right? Don't forget to share with your friends, family, and loved ones to encourage their shopping pattern as well.
Hi, my name is Noor from the Mano and my Instagram is 20748. So this is my tech video about Ecolabel. So I will present about awareness. So I will start now. Consumer awareness of the environment and prefer for the more environmentally friendly product is growing around the world. So the Malaysian government has also responded to this challenge very positively. But a Malaysian consumer ready for Ecolabel. So the results are very encouraging. With a little exposed to environmental related experience, Malaysian consumer will certainly respond positively to Ecolabel. In fact, for situation they require them to consider the environmental aspect to the product they want to buy. Ecolabel will definitely be an important factor that will motivate them to make the right possession choice. So that's all for this video. Thank you.
Hi everyone, so there are many types of Ecolabel electronic in this world. So here is 4 important Ecolabel electronic that we need to know. So first and foremost, Energy Star USA. It aggregates products and buildings that meet energy efficiency benchmark set by the US Environmental Protection Agency. The next one is EU Energy Label. The focus of this label is saving energy. Each product category has a density level. Next, EPID Global. It is a global rating system for greener electronics. The rating criteria generally cover over 10 categories, including energy conservation, product longevity, and many more. And the last one is EU Ecolabel. It can help consumers to identify products and services that have a reduced environmental impact throughout their life cycle. So thank you for watching.
I think that video have a different information. So that's all for part 2. I will pass to the third moderator, Nelly. Thank you.
Thank you, Farhana. I'm Nelly, your next moderator. Now, let's watch video part 3 to get some information about benefit of Ecolabel.
Hello everyone. As you guys have watched the video on ISO 14020S, now let's continue to part 3, which is about the benefits of eco-labeling. In this part we will explain why we need ISO standards for eco-labeling, who develops ISO standards for eco-labeling, who are benefiting from ISO standards for eco-labeling, and what benefits will it bring to the industry. Before we move to what are the benefits of ISO standards for environmental labels, we need to know why do we need ISO standards for environmental labels. Environmental labels provide information about a product or service in terms of its overall environmental benefits, such as the recyclability of its packaging, or the absence of noxious ingredients. At a time when more and more consumers are motivated to purchase environmentally benign products, this information can positively influence consumer choices, creating a win-win situation for all. However, the increasing proliferation of such labeling has led to concerns of greenwashing and exaggerated marketing claims. What is needed, therefore, are internationally agreed and harmonized criteria and methods of labeling to provide a credible and level playing field. Next, did you guys know who develops ISO standards for environmental labels? ISO standards are developed by groups of experts within technical committees, TCs. TCs are made up of representatives and international experts from industry, non-governmental organizations, governments and other stakeholders who are put forward by ISO and its members from all over the world. Each TC deals with a different subject or specialist area. ISO standards play a fundamental role for some parties. Let's take a look at who is benefiting from ISO standards for environmental labels. There are 4 parties that will receive the benefits. The first one is an industry where ISO standards for environmental labels help businesses create their own environmental labeling that effectively and accurately describes their products in a way that instills loyalty and trust in their customers. The second one is consumers. They will get the benefit when businesses use ISO standards to provide clear and accurate information that can be easily compared with other products and services. The next one is regulators. Regulators can rely on ISO standards as a solid base on which to create public policy that meets international commitments to help them establish and measure criteria for environmentally related incentive schemes. ISO standards also help regulators address the many challenges that climate change brings. Last but not least, the governments where they received benefits in a reduction of environmental pollution due to a product and services. There are many reasons why an industry should take a strategic approach to improving its environmental performance. Users of the standard have reported that ISO standards for environmental labels helps demonstrate compliance with current and future statutory and regulatory requirements, increase leadership involvement and engagement of employees, improve company reputation and the confidence of stakeholders through strategic communication, achieve strategic business aims by incorporating environmental issues into business management, provide a competitive and financial advantage through improved efficiencies and reduced costs, encourage better environmental performance of suppliers by integrating them into the organization's business systems. Organizations using ISO standards for environmental labels have found success across a range of areas, including reduced energy and water consumption, a more systematic approach to legal compliance, and an improved overall environmental performance. Examples of success with ISO standards for environmental labels are shown as follows. Firstly, is Premier Foods. Premier Foods enhancing relationships with stakeholders and staff. Since 2001, they have used ISO standards for environmental label to make big improvements such as increasing their organization's recycling rate. They have now been at zero landfill since March 2013 and are recycling and reusing 100% of their site wastes. They have continued to improve their relationship with neighbors because they have the processes in place to respond quickly to any concerns. Among other benefits, their processes and the appointment of Green Matters champions ensure that staff are environmentally engaged and aware of the site's potential impact on the environment. Next is Upcon Corporation. Upcon provides services to lift up sunken concrete floors using its unique Upcon method. Achieving certification to ISO standard for environmental label in 2008 allowed them to document effectively the details of their method for all staff to share and standardize the quality of work at every site. In addition to boosting their competitiveness through more accurate quality control, ISO standard for environmental label also strengthens their confidence in their method by demonstrating that it produces 90% less CO2 emissions when compared to concrete replacement. What's more, since their certification, staff engagement and motivation have increased, safe in the knowledge that they are contributing positively to the environment through their products and services. That is all for part 3. Thank you everyone for listening. Now, before we continue to part 4, let's have some quiz session. Quiz part 3. Document effectively the details of their method for all staff to share and standardize the quality of work at every site. Which company gets this benefit from ISO standard for Ecolabel? A. Premier Foods. B. Upcon Corporation. And the answer is B. Upcon Corporation. Next, do self-declared environmental claims are under ISO 14021 environmental labels and declarations? A. True. B. False. Do you guys want to know the answer? Let's watch the final part, which is about what is environmental labeling and declaration?
I hope everyone can get so many knowledge from the video. As you guys have watched the video, now let's continue for the next Kahoot session. Everyone can join the Kahoot session now. The pin is 2073028. Or you guys can simply scan the QR. Come on guys, let's join the Kahoot session. We have 13 participants now. We will wait for 30 to 35 participants to start the session. Now we have 18 participants. We need more participants to join this session. Alright, 10 more participants before we start our quiz session. Come on, join this Kahoot session now, guys. We are still waiting for the player. Alright, now I think we can start the Kahoot session.
So the first question is true or false? ISO standards are developed by groups of experts within technical committees. Is it true or false? You guys have 10 seconds left to answer the question. The answer is true. Only one got it right. Only one got it wrong answer. Now number one is Manwol. Congrats to Manwol. Next question is environmental labels help businesses create their own environmental labeling. Which party will get the benefit from it? Industry, consumer, regulators, or government? Which one do you guys think? 5 seconds more. The answer is industry. And now number one is SWY. Next question. Eco-labeling will give benefits in a reduction on environmental pollution due to a product and services. Who will get the benefit? Industry, consumer, regulators, or government? Three seconds left. The answer is government. 13 people got the right answer. Number one is still the same, SWY. Congrats to her. Now, fourth question is, which one of these are the benefits that regulators can get? Let's read the answer carefully. It is stated in the video just now. Five seconds left. The answer is establish and measure criteria for environmentally related incentive schemes. SWY is still leading, number one. And the last question is, document effectively with the detail of their method for all staff to share and standardize the work quality at every site. Which company get the benefit? Premier Foods or Upcon Corporation? Which one do you guys think? Yes, the answer is Upcon Corporation. So the winner, number 3, goes to Zulhakis. The second one is Marsh. And the winner for this part 3 Kahoot session is my friend Jungkook. Congrats to all the winner. For Kahoot winner, you can contact the number in the Zoom chat box to claim your e-certificate. Thank you everyone for joining this Kahoot session. Before we continue to the last part, which is part 4, let's take a break. During this break, we will present to you our individual video.
Hello everyone, today I want to talk about company produce eco-labeling. The first and the most popular company is Blue Angel with the blue logo like this, and another company such as European Union Ecolabel, NF Environment from France, and Ecolabelling from Canada. This all company it is triggered for the existence of eco-labeling and can be used until now to ensure a clean environment and save our nature from solid waste. Thank you for watching.
Did you know that Ecolabel also have on-road transportation? Before we go any further, let's take a look what is Ecolabel. So here is the Ecolabel on transportation around the world. Let's take a look at a few examples of Ecolabel on transportation. In United States, they are using Smart with Ecolabel. In Asian countries, we have Thailand and Singapore who practicing Thai Green Label and Singapore Green Label scheme. Ecolabel certified products secure consumer and help the environment.
There are many types of ecolabels on food in this world, but here are some of examples of ecolabelling on foods. First thing first is carbon care. Carbon care can encourage and recognize the efforts of organizations, entities, and groups in tackling climate change in 3 steps that we call MRO: measuring, reducing, and offsetting carbon footprints. The next one is FC associations, the multi-stakeholder organization that brings together actors that are committed to addressing the sustainability issue of the coffee sector in a pre-competitive manner. And the last one is certified vegan. It signifies that products are vegan, and it also defined as containing no animal ingredients or byproducts, using no animal ingredients or byproduct in the manufacturing process, and not tested on animal by any company or independent contractor. So thank you for watching.
The clothing industry has environmental and social impacts along its entire value chain. Some issue that has been identified is the sustainability issues in the clothing industry for different life cycle stages of garments. Firstly is concept, incentive from the mission statement, business model, strategy, and organization influence the extent to which workers prioritize sustainability issues along the entire life cycle. Next is resource. Choice of material and supplier may influence the impact on bioproductivity and human health caused by the use of petroleum resources, chemicals, and water. Thirdly is production. Choice of material construction and supplier also limit the impact on bioproductivity and human health from use of petroleum resources, chemicals, and water. Next is packaging. Choice of packaging may limit environmental impacts like demands on transport mode and fuel requirements, and choice of warehouse location to facilitate coordination of transports. And lastly is waste management, which is choice of material composition and chemicals of garments to facilitate material recycling or incineration. Thank you.
Hello everyone, we meet again. I'm Al-Fatiha Nazira. In this video, I will share about Ecolabelling and Green Public Procurement. First, what is Green Public Procurement, which is GPP? GPP is a voluntary tool for Europe's public authorities that favors products, services, and works that respect the environment. Next, what is the benefits of Green Public Procurement, GPP? The benefits of GPP are: first, GPP has the potential to be a key driver of innovation by encouraging industry to produce environmentally sustainable goods and services. Second, GPP may also save money for public entities, especially if the complete life cycle expenses of a contract are considered rather than simply the purchase price. And lastly, GPP enables governments will be better prepared to address changing environmental concerns such as reducing greenhouse gas emissions or moving towards a more circular economy. We move to the next point, which is how can Ecolabel help in GPP? First is develop environmental criteria for tenders. Independent Ecolabel such as European Ecolabel are a great place to start looking for requirements. These are created in collaboration with all relevant stakeholders and based on solid scientific evidence. Second is verifying the environmental performance of products. An Ecolabel is a simple and reliable way for public procurers to check whether a product meets the environmental criteria required by the European Union for it to be classed as good or waste-free. The last point in these videos are to check the product and service groups covered by the Green Public Procurement and Ecolabel. First is cleaning products. For example, all-purpose cleaners and cleaners, sanitary facilities, hand dishwashing detergent, and laundry detergent. Second, appliances, such as dishwasher, television, refrigerators, and light bulbs. Third, paper products, such as copying and graphic paper, printer paper, and tissue paper. Fourth, home and gardens, bed mattress, wooden furniture, and soil-improved and growing media. Fifth, clothing, such as footwear and textile products. And lastly is for tourism, such as campsite and tourist accommodation services. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.
Hi, today I want to talk about the problem with the sustainable seafood labels in Canada. In Canada, seafood consumers have high level of concern with the marine environment and sustainable harvesting, but they have very limited knowledge and understanding of the sustainable ecolabels on products that give some assurance that species are being protected. With an especially long and opaque supply chain, seafood can be a confusing category for shoppers to navigate. Despite wanting to ensure sustainable fishing practices, more than one-third of respondents say having so many different certification programs was a challenge when it came to purchasing ecolabelling seafood. The various labels may be recognizable, the researchers found, but few consumers have a clear idea of what they signify.
Hi, my name is Nofana binti Muhammad Noor. I'm my entry number is 20748. So this is my last video about the Ecolabel. This video about green marketing. So what is meaning of the green marketing? So green marketing refers to the practice of the development and harvesting product based on their real and perceived environmental sustainability. So green marketing can be defined in 4P, which are green product, green price, green place, and green promotion. For the green marketing in Malaysia and around the world, such as is IKEA, almost all of the product by IKEA come from the most sustainability resource. So that's all for my video. Thank you.
That's all for part 3. Now I pass to the last moderator, Yes.
Thank you, Nelly. Hello, I'm Yasmin, your last moderator for this Ecolabelling webinar. So let's continue to watch the video for part 4, which is the last part.
For the part 4, we will discover about what is environmental labeling and declaration. In this part, we will take a look on the important terms, recommendations, and conclusion for the eco-labeling. Environmental eco-labeling and declaration. Environmental eco-labeling and declaration is one of the tools of environmental management. It provides information about a product or service in terms of its overall environmental character, specific environmental aspect, or any aspect. One of the ISO that have been used for this environmental eco-labeling and declaration is known as ISO 14020. This ISO 14020 is a general principle, establishes the guiding principles for the development and use of environmental labels and declarations. There are 3 types of ISO 14020. Type 1 environmental labeling is for eco-labeling schemes where there are clearly defined criteria for products. Second one is Type 2 is self-declared environmental claims. This Type 2 is for products and services where there are neither criteria nor labeling schemes. And the last one is Type 3 environmental declarations. This Type 3 is for specific aspects of products using a life cycle approach. General principles. General principles is under ISO 14020, environmental labels and declarations. It is intended at businesses who wish to create an environmental label or claim, as it explains how to ensure that the information they supply is accurate and credible. It lays forth the principles that support all of the other 14,020 standards and can be utilized by people making environmental claims for which no specific standards have been defined. Ecolabelling schemes. Ecolabelling schemes is under ISO 14024, environmental labels and declarations. Type 1 environmental labeling. Principles and procedures. These systems give products or services a mark or logo if they meet a set of standards. This features the principles and processes for selecting product categories, product environmental criteria, product function characteristics, and assessing and documenting conformity are all included in ISO 14024. It also defines the labeling procedures for certification. Self-declared environmental claims. Self-declared environmental claims is under ISO 14021, Environmental Labels and Declarations, Self-declared environmental claims, Type 2 environmental labeling. It identifies and defines a number of regularly used terms and claims, whether on the product or elsewhere, such as product literature, advertising, or reports. It also explains the processes used to evaluate each phrase to verify that they are legitimate and scientifically sound. Let's recap back what we have learned before. There are 3 types of environmental labeling and declaration, which are Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. Type 1 is one tools of environmental management, and it is a subject of the ISO 14000 series. It provides information about a product or service related with environmental character and specific environment aspect. This type I of environmental labels and declarations, it also related to other applicable standard in the ISO 14020 series are ISO 14021, 14024, and ISO 14025. For Type 2, the function of environmental label and declaration are developed one recognized label which will make the customer trust the labeling. Improve the image and sales of the company. Take into account the environmental impact of the production process. Raise awareness of environmental issue and problems among consumers. Help the protection of the environment. Type 3 is about the parties that benefiting from ISO standards for environmental labels. The parties that benefiting from ISO standards for environmental labels are customer, manufacturer or industry, governance, and regulatory body. So, let's move to the recommendations for individual or consumer responsibility. All of us, as a consumer, we must spend little more time discovering the environmental impact of product. Other than that, we also must more conscious of environmental concerns and issues. As for the company and manufacturer responsibility, a firm should take into account for the environmental impact of their production. They also need to fight to have eco-labels. The governance or regulator body should establish policies and guidelines for manufacturing firms. Other than that, governance also should mandate out relevant factories and industries to follow the environmental management scheme. In conclusion, environmental labeling and declaration are a subject of ISO 14000 series to inform about a product or service in terms of its overall environmental character, specific environmental aspect, or any aspect. Eco-labels and green stickers are labeling systems for consumer products that are practiced around the world. For example, Surim is a recognized labeling system. Eco-label is voluntary, but green stickers are mandated by law. Environmental labeling and declaration have developed throughout many proper stages with the certified organization to ensure its credibility of environmentally claimed during the life cycle of one product or service. Let's have a quiz session. Does self-declared environmental claims are under ISO 14021, environmental labels and declarations? True or false? The answer is true. Great job. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so let's move on to the Kahoot session. Okay, please enter the PIN 130380. We need at least 30 players in this game. guys with another episode. We need another 11% before we start. Another 10%. Yeah, I think we can start now. The first question is how many types of ISO 14020? The answer might be 1, 2, 3. Oh, the answer is 3. Next question. The next question. Those are parties that benefiting from ISO standard for environmental label except customer, manufacturer, governance, or the answer is cool. So 205516 is leading. The next question is true or false. Firms should take into account for the environmental impact. The answer is true and almost people get it right. Next. Environmental labels and declaration type 1 tell about the parties that get benefits from IS or the answer is false. 11% get it right. Sanat Zainal Ekter is leading the place one. Next is a true or false question. One function of environmental labels and declaration is to improve the image and scope of the answer is true. Only 2 people get it wrong. So let me see the podium. Third place, the second place is Zainal Ekter, and the champion one is a friendly reminder to the user to check the number to check box to turn your certificate. Okay, so I think that's it for the part 4. I will pass to our MC back. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin. So we got a few questions on the chat box at the Zoom and YouTube. So let's me check it first. So the first question is from Iman Hidayah. Is the implementation of the Ecolabel is effective?
Thank you for the question. I will answer that question. Overall, the effectiveness of eco-labeling on product help people to make comparison between eco-friendly product and non-eco-friendly product. Eco-label also help consumer in choosing and buying environmental friendly product and make sure our environment safe from solid waste. I hope that answer your question, Mandaya.
Thank you, Hanafi, for the explanation just now. So, ladies and gentlemen, with the end of the Q&A session just now, then our webinar ends today. Prior to that, the webinar Eco-Labeling educators were happy to remind the audience to fill out the Google Forms or scan the QR code that will display at the end of the program to confirm your attendance. The QR code will be open for only 5 minutes before it closes. Reminder to all Kahoot winners, please contact the number at the chat box to claim your certificate. Finally, I, Iza Arzeni, as the MC of the webinar today, would like to apologize if there were any mistakes or miscommunication during the ceremony. Before we end, let's have a photo session together. All participants in the Zoom can open the camera and we will take a photo in 1 minute. Okay, ready everyone? Come on guys, open your camera. Come on guys. We will wait a few minutes more. Come on, guys, open your camera. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Another one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next page. Keep smiling, guys. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, with the end of the photo session just now, we have reached the end of our webinar today. Thank you for joining us. You may leave this webinar after filling the attendance form. Hope to see you again. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us.